This NBA Finals Game 6 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Hey, it's Peyton Manning, and you're listening to SGPN. Let's ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Yeah, not a hockey guy, but Connor McDavid. Not really.
Yeah, what happened?
Dare I say,
McDavid and Reichel
showed up in a similar fashion as Halliburton. Once in a while and when convenient.
So Tyrese, so maybe we'll hear about a McDavid calf strain later on.
Hockey players don't do the after the fact injury.
That is what's awesome about the
LeBron
NHL.
James will be out 4 to 6 weeks in the off season.
Yeah. You man, set your watch to those stories of LeBron powering through and then immediately releasing some sort of injury that probably needs surgery. All right. Enough messing around. We're here to talk NBA Finals Game 6. Joining us on the line from the NBA Gambling Podcast, we got Terrell, Furman, Scott, Reichel. Scott, we'll start with you because we're talking a little puck with you. Florida Panthers, they win, they get it done back to back. Any big picture thoughts on the Stanley Cup?
Well, before you start, Scott, did we not have a conversation about pulling the goalie super early? Because why not?
And they almost there was that over 6.5 had no business even coming close, and they almost got it because they pulled the goalie with 7 minutes left. Ultimately, 5-1 final. Just pathetic last two games by the Oilers. Your thoughts, Scott?
Yeah, they had a crazy win in Game 4. And they thought they won the series because I didn't see them in games 5 and game 6. So Florida wins again. I feel like you make the argument that the Edmonton Oilers, of course, still have the main core intact with McDavid and Draisaitl. You couldn't see them today, but they were on the ice allegedly for the game. I wonder where they go from here because I don't know if you can keep running it back with the current goaltending they have with Skinner. And when they want to throw in Pickard, they try to throw him in there. But there's an expression in football, which is if you have two quarterbacks, you have zero. If you have two goalies and you keep mixing it up in the middle of a series, you might want to go out and get yourself an actual goalie. So I feel like Skinner, who had a solid season, the fact is they kept switching in the playoffs for the hot hand. At some point, you got to get somebody who could actually trust in a game-in, game-out basis. And Edmonton just didn't have that. Now, the offense wasn't good enough anyway. Florida's defense was great. Bobrovsky was solid as the series went on. And you saw Reinhart score 4 goals today. They traded for Marchand, who was great. Bennett won the Conn Smythe. He was great too. But Edmonton needs to switch some things up, I'd say ideologically, and trying to figure out these low-budget replacements at goalie is just not going to get the job done. You need a better star-end goalie if you want to get over the finish line. Because no offense to Skinner and Pickard, they weren't good enough.
Shout out to Woodson in the chat saying, "Told y'all McPussy wasn't winning shit."
Wow, McPussy.
Yeah, that is.
That doesn't even rhyme.
No, that's how you know it's insulting when they don't even try and rhyme it.
You just put Mick in front of pussy. It's a low bar.
Terrell, there's a character called Big Pussy on a show you've never seen. Update the audience. How many episodes of The Sopranos have you watched since we last discussed you not seeing any of The Sopranos?
0.
Oh, come on. Not even a little curious. You go,
this is a great new segment.
You go home. Yeah, no, we just, every time Terrell
what
is on our show,
Terrell on?
What episode are you on?
And it's funny because if it's up to me, this is the last episode you guys are gonna have me on until what, October?
Yeah, get you on for some football.
Oh, what do you mean? We're gonna be
Yeah,
covering the
okay, all
WNBA.
right. I guess.
Yeah.
WNBA, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
right.
WNBA
Just kidding.
check-in.
We don't have time. I looked at the schedule. Nothing but football from here to
Wait,
September.
schedule wise, yes. Colby is coming into town tomorrow, and then we're gonna do a ton of college football conference previews. Those roll right into our NFL team previews. So a lot of football on the brain, but still a lot of basketball to be played.
We made a mistake. We let Colby define the schedule. We're doing a Pac-2 and Independence
Oh
episode.
no, really?
Yeah.
There's only 2 teams. Why do we need a preview?
Independence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we can combine them. The like just the island of misfit toys.
Oh yeah.
Terrell, congratulations. You were on the Thunder 9.5 in game 5. It felt like some of those earlier, it kind of felt like game 1 where the Pacers were getting destroyed early, often, and then all of a sudden they knocked it down to 2 points. Halliburton was struggling. Our boy TJ McConnell was filling it up. And it did feel like Carlisle maybe was holding off a little bit from pulling Halliburton, but congrats, you hit the Thunder 9.5. You also had Halliburton under 30.5 PRA. Didn't even come close. What are you making? Where's your head at going into game 6 here?
Well, I mean, let's see what comes of Tyrese Halliburton. Is he even going to play? What level is he going to be at? I don't even think that really what happened in game 5 was injury based for him. He just didn't have any space to do anything when he was driving inside. He had nowhere to go with the basketball, and he really couldn't score over top of them. OKC's defense was just really, really, really good, and they keyed in and said he's not getting anything today, and he didn't. And so maybe the injury had something to do with it, but I think it was a lot of the defense of OKC. So as of now, I mean, I would be impressed, and it would have to be one of those spots where OKC just kind of lets down after knowing that they kind of have the nail in the coffin here. But I think OKC all the way here. They're going to get it done and close it out here in game 6 on the road.
Scott, where are you at? Game 6, NBA Finals. What do we think's gonna happen? What's your take on the series going into game 6 here?
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's not good for Indiana. You could argue that OKC's been here before. We have seen them slip up in a potential series clinching spot on the road because they have game 7 in their back pocket. It's once again one game away from winning a championship type of intensity at this point. OKC, I don't think is going to be playing with house money with game 7 at home. They're going to show up and try to win this game. I don't see OKC overlooking the Pacers here. You could argue that it's an us against the world type game for the Pacers right now, but the Thunder don't care. At the end of the day, defensively, they're great. We know that they were able to shut down Halliburton even pre-injury for the majority of the series. Siakam's been fine, but besides that, I've not been overly impressed with the supporting cast of Indiana. I love TJ McConnell. Makes us a lot of money. Mathurin's had a couple of really bad games with a good game sprinkled in there too. But besides that, Miles Turner was okay last game. Nemhart's been kind of invisible. Neesmith is in foul trouble every game trying to guard SGA. How many guys have you actually been impressed by watching Indiana in the series? Because Obi's had a couple of moments, but in reality, SGA and Jalen Williams have clearly not even been close, been the best 2 players in the series. And if you want to argue that OKC's 3rd best player is Chet, who's been maybe the 4th best player in the series behind Siakam, you're not going to win if one team has 3 of the best 4 players on the court on a regular basis. It's just not going to happen. So I'll ask you about Indiana. Have you been impressed by half of their roster? Because I feel like most of the guys here seem outmatched.
No, and
I assumed he was asking you because everyone knows how I feel.
Ryan, what's your take on the Pacers?
Well, it seems like the Haliban, Al-Qaeda has fallen victim to maybe some cave flooding. Maybe
the CIA they found him up in Tora Bora.
Maybe some what's the hot word lately? Some hypersonic missiles digging it. I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of no showing.
Yeah. No, he's in a spider hole somewhere.
Listen, the Dub Clubbers now, and I would point out this. Since what was my play last? What was the Dub Club access?
You gave
early
out
access.
OKC minus one and a half
games. So basically now they just got to win right now.
Yes.
Guess what? We got that at plus 105. You know what the mechanical would have worked out to? minus 137.
Well, and that's interesting too, because the spread now I'm seeing is 6.5 points.
Yeah.
That would, to me, probably suggest that Halliburton is not going to play, or if he is going to play, he's going to be limited.
They're giving, they're taking away from a like back against the wall spot, which I guess typically you'd point in the other direction, maybe.
Yeah, I think normally the back against the wall spot would make this line a little shorter. Indiana at home, elimination game. If Halliburton was 100%, I think they would probably make it 4.5. Maybe 5, but now that he's hurt and possibly out, I mean, Terrell, what do you make of the spread 6.5? Do you think that suggests he's not playing?
I think that they don't want to call it. I think the books actually don't have the information either. I think if they were certain, it's probably at 8. Honestly, if they're certain that he doesn't play, and at 8, I'm not gonna lie, Pacers is kind of tempting because I can see this be a type of game where, for some reason, Indiana gets up and it's that everybody plays against this game. OKC 1-10 at some plus money there feels like a really good win margin to play here. And saying that, yeah, okay, the Pacers come up and they make this a close game, but Halliburton, being the closer he isn't there to put them over the top. So it makes me a little bit nervous, but I still feel very, very confident about OKC getting this done. And I'll even lay the short number of 5.5. But when we start getting the 6.5s and probably 7, 8 if he's out, I don't know. I think I would be on Indiana on that point.
Patrick Fisher in the chat pointing out, keep your eye out for the NBA ref assignment. Scott Foster lurking, the extender.
So was that mentioned in the chat not serious?
I don't think
They don't announce until the next day.
9 a.m. Right?
Yeah, okay, 9 a.m. day of. It's like 9 a.m. day of that they announce it. So we wouldn't know yet. But even if Scott Foster is, he hasn't been doing his job.
He can only
he hasn't been doing a good job of his job recently. He's been horrible calling games, and so it probably makes me feel better about OKC, honestly.
But that was one thing about Scott Foster, though, is that he did, sorry to interrupt, he did referee game 4, and the Thunder won. And people were going, see, Scott Foster, extender. I'm like, no, the Pacers scored 1 point in the last 3 minutes and 19 seconds. I don't think Scott Foster did anything to help that out. It felt like they were giving him credit they didn't really earn. Foster has not been as good as this year's previous years when it comes to extending. It worked out in game 4, but that was because the Pacers completely just choked the game away. I didn't think Scott Foster's influence supported one team over another. It was a horrible job by him on both sides, but I don't think it benefited one team over the other, in my opinion, from game 4.
Right, maybe
he's getting old, you know.
Yeah, well, and Scott Foster coming back from injury, maybe he's past his prime. And I'm hearing Scott Reichel, maybe a Scott Foster fan. Maybe we can get him a Foster referee
Team
jersey.
Scott.
If you're in Indiana, Scott would be amazing link up.
I've made this joke before for a T-shirt idea where it's just a referee. You know, they have families too. They want to see the refs on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to start selling the opposite of the refs are terrorists.
Yeah, we need a pro ref shirts.
What's like the ref's house, someone's house or some, you know, it's a safe haven here.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that the idea of Scott on Scott.
Yes,
that's
Scott Foster and Scott Reichel doing a podcast together would be,
or just the segment is Scott has a take on Scott.
Yeah,
in 30 seconds.
Scott breaks down Scott. I would say and getting back to your earlier question, Scott Reichel, where have you been impressed of the Pacers? I would say game 3 where Halliburton had that 22, 11 and 9, like that game 3 was really their only good game. I mean, game 1, they had a spurt there where they certainly played very well. And obviously they closed it out strong with that shot, but game 3 was their only good game, I would say, of the series. And certainly to me, that was like part of the appeal of playing some Pacers stuff, is that, man, if they get a little bit of this offense going, if Halliburton could give them something close to what he was averaging previously in the playoffs, if any of that clicks, they can really, cover these spreads and get some wins. But I mean, that game 5 performance was pretty weak of Halliburton. Dealing with injury or not, he's been super tentative, and hats off to the Thunder. Deserve a ton of credit for their defense, because I think they're clogging up the lanes. They're intimidating. I mean, he's not being aggressive, and it's hurting their offense.
He's an NBA player, so he's a little soft, like our poll taught us.
Yes, definitely.
I'm just bringing up
They
facts.
brought out the stretcher for him as I showed the photos earlier.
That wasn't an EPL game. Those are two teams from non-English leagues.
All right, we're gonna give out some picks, some props before we do. Of course, our lock, Lead Pipe Lock, for the best sports book in the world. You know it, you love it, Circa Sportsbook. I mean, come on, you got to head over to Circa. And if you've never been to Circa, you're missing out. Promo code SGP, 15% off all the Circa properties, but you can win a free trip. Now the drawing, I think it closes at the end of this month. So you want to make sure you get in for the ultimate fantasy football draft experience. You and 11 friends get to do your draft live at the Circa 5K food and beverage tab at the Stadium Swim. You get the Legacy Club welcome party, limo trip, and you can put down a bunch of drinks in that limo. Trust me, it is awesome. Circa is great, and you can enter and win for free. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And of course, shout out to Rhythm. I mean, again, if you're looking to get in on some NBA action, Rhythm has you covered. They've been doing a great job all playoff long, and it's fun. You can build your own model with Rhythm, and you can use their models, their picks, their props. Very easy. They also have WNBA. And I know Scott and Reichel, Scott and Terrell end up using that as well. Let's see. Miles Turner under 4.5 rebounds. They like it at +120. That is a nice power trend. You can get a 7-day free trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Last but not least, mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN, 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's do apply on that deposit match. But head over to MyBookie, home of the MyBookie money bag. NBA Finals, college baseball, early NFL action. We just did our Defensive Player of the Year show. Plenty of ways to win. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, Terrell. Officially, we'll call Ryan. What are we calling the line? What are we calling the number here?
6.5.
6.5.
We'll call it. And like I was I was mechanical parlaying based off of a -250 money line, +205 for the Pacers. 2.5 is the total. Shout out to Berman. I mean, so anecdotally, I did go back a handful of years. It does seem like when the closeout game happens on the road, it's a little bit gross.
Gross meaning they get blown out.
Yeah. So
because they get hyped up early, then
the starting point is you take the money line or you lay the points with the favorite. Now, of course, I'm already on a great position with Thunder -1.5 here. I'm basically, I'm sitting on a +105 and I'm looking at -250. I would still lay the number. Okay. I think this one's going to be messy. Halliburton is strangely their leader and also a huge pussy. And their leaders, would you rather him play or not play? He didn't seem like the kind of guy that plays well with injury. Almost don't want him to play if I'm a Pacers fan. Want to see what happens if he doesn't play and the team has to get up. But yeah, no, I'll lay the points. I jinxed Caruso last game. If you remember, I said we're going to take a little bit of a ladder. I said over 3.5 threes. He went 0 for 3. Yeah. So we'll stay tuned to later.
You really
in
put
the show.
Stink on him.
Stay tuned to later in the show. I will have a banger of prop and Siakam, who did have the third bucket of the game. Need him to have the first bucket.
Okay, so you're close.
But yeah, no, I'd lay it. I would lay it right here, big time. I think OKC closes it out and makes CJ happy. Although CJ won't be happy.
No, because his parlay had the Oilers. Fortunately, they didn't get it done. Shout out to the DraftKings, whatever that guy that they had. They were trying to get you invested in this story of this guy of this $13 parlay. Yeah. Meanwhile, halfway through, the kid hedged out for $70K, and they kept saying, "Will he take the cash out? Will he take the cash out?" That you're kind of highlighting how the cash out is bad. Yeah. If he just hedged for $70K on his own, I'm sure he's doing it at a better price. Scott, you were all over it. Scott's our enforcer of social media faux pas in the gambling Twitter world. What did you make of the parlay kid, as he was known?
I just thought the entire saga was a bunch of bullshit. It was just a bunch of bullshit, if I'm being honest here. The fact is, look, I understand that as a sports betting company like DraftKings, you're trying to stir up interest, I guess, in your product, even though everybody knows what DraftKings is. I don't really know what the point is, but the point is you're trying to increase some social media engagement, and you found this guy who had a $13 parlay that took about 15 months to complete to win about, I don't know, $250,000. And they're following this kid around. They're flying him out to all these games. They post about him 15 times a day, and nobody asks to see him 15 times a day, but they're just spamming the timelines. And then it's like, oh, is he going to take this 100K cash out? And it's like deal or no deal. Keeps going no deal. And you find out that he accepted a cash out 3 weeks ago, and he's just been lying about it for the last 2 weeks. And oh yeah, they interviewed him before the game today. And it's like, well, how do you feel if Florida wins? What's going to happen? It's like, oh no, I hedged before the series started. I'm like, okay, so DraftKings just admitted they're full of shit. So you just wasted all of our time for 2 weeks. All right, great.
Yeah, and then the drama's taken away. Like if they're flying him to all these events, of course he's gonna let it ride.
He violated some contract.
Yeah,
right?
something.
He might have been a bit too honest. But if you're a sports book that's also plugging this guy that's sweating out parlays, and then hint, he actually took all the money about 3 weeks ago, it kind of ruins the entire point of your promotion. So it really just aged horribly. That's my takeaway on that.
Well, yeah, and in general, the cash out usually isn't the best price. So do your shopping. And again, we don't advise hedging, as we are a gambling network, not a landscaping crew here.
Did you have the same takeaway as me though? Because it felt like doing all of that posting for a guy that already hedged out he had no parlay. He hedged out the parlay 2 weeks ago. He had no parlay. It was just a waste of time.
Yeah, no, it just highlights how you shouldn't hit the cash out button, because whatever he did, he had already hedged out a different way. And yes, made no sense.
So I've been quiet. Is money just infinite? Like, is money just infinite for you? Like, how can you just hedge out $70,000 and you put a $13 parlay in? Like, how did you get the income to hedge out $70,000?
No, the argument is that DraftKings might have given him a lump sum and agreed behind closed doors, if we give you 70, you'll keep promoting. We'll get you tickets to all these random games. We'll pay for your flights, but you just have to pretend that you're sweating it out for a week and a half, and we'll constantly post you on social media. So my guess is they gave him a lump sum behind closed doors, said, here's 80K, and you don't have to worry about it, but we're still going to milk you for content. That's my understanding of the entire situation. Is that fair?
I don't know, because I was with Scott. I was following it because it's always on the timeline, and then the video of him before this hockey game 6, he goes, yeah, I'm hoping the Oilers can get it done so we can stay alive here and get it back to Edmonton. I did hedge for 70K a while back. And they're like, wait,
he just slips it in. He slips it in. The entire thing is, I'm not taking the cash out. I'm here. I'm ready to let it ride. And then he slips in an interview. Oh no, 3 weeks ago, I already determined I make 70K minimum. It's like, so you're just lying to everybody for 3 weeks. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So if you just to be clear, the easiest place for you to get that kind of credit for a hedge situation would be the place that you have the wager.
Yes.
We see Derek extend generous opportunities to people in Circa Million, Circa Survivor for a similar reason. He did not do that. So to Scott's point,
we don't. I guess we don't.
He did not.
In theory, the parlay could have never existed. They made the whole thing up. We don't know anything.
That's true.
That is also true.
But he obviously did not hedge with DraftKings, according to the story, and it would be very difficult to get that type of credit unless you had the cash. I mean, we've been around this world for a while. You're not getting 70K credit to put on a future. So anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. According to BR Betting, who is the one promoting him.
Oh, those guys.
He says he will profit 75K plus on his hedges. Yeah. So I don't know what he did hedge wise to make that happen, but Congrats to him for making the 75K.
This is sketchy.
Terrell's
this
right
is
to be
sketchy.
I don't
This is
want to
very,
immediately
very
say.
sketchy.
I don't want to say don't judge a book by its cover because it sounds a bit harsh. But does that look like a guy that has 100K in the bank ready for hedges? Because I don't think it does.
No.
Just saying, it doesn't look like.
Does a
he's got
guy
lot of
like
money
that put
lying around.
$13 on a parlay for a year? Like, if you
Yeah.
have that much money in the bank, are you putting $13 on a parlay that you're sweating for a year? Like, this sounds very. This is my first time hearing the story, and I have so many questions.
If it's actually true and the parlay is real, let's start there. Let's say the parlay is real. If this whole thing actually happened, I assume they worked out a deal behind closed doors because that would take away the withdrawing and trying to find ways to hedge for 70 grand. My guess is DraftKings made a deal with them behind closed doors. We'll give you this. You don't have to bother with all the other hedging and stuff, but you still have to plug our stuff.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's what happened.
It could have been just that simple. I don't.
In a more fun world, he hedged at a nefarious
like a local place that he's got to like track down.
Think about it. The most logical way you're going to get that kind of credit is knowing a guy.
Yeah, is from a local bookie.
I know a guy. He'll extend you the credit.
But
yada yada. Maybe
so to your point, Kramer. Again, shout out to Circa, which they do have. And if you need a line of credit at Circa, hit me up. They will put you in touch with someone. You can get a line of credit, and especially if they like for the millions, like you were saying, if they know you have a Circa Millions and or the Circa Survivor, they will extend you a credit line based off of owning that asset, right? So if you're really far along and the theoretical value is 100K, your credit line could be based off that. So
what percentage probability though would you think that he's just an industry plant? None of this was real.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
I mean, cue the conspiracy theory.
I will say this. I mean, if you really want to break down the psychology of a young person and then the psychology of a gambler, they really contradict each other because the young person wants to be seen, wants to be famous, but a true gambler isn't going to want to mush their fucking parlay. And so the number one reason why I think a lot of this stuff is fugazi is no guy in his right mind sweating out a 6-figure parlay wants fucking cameras on him. I mean, on a normal Sunday, I don't even want anyone in the. I don't want more than the usual Sean and Decker in the SGPN headquarters.
Yeah, I mean, when we had the Super Bowl party, there was 2 separate rooms. One for people who wanted to talk during the game, and people who wanted to lock in on the action. So and we were in the soundproof studio. The party was in the other room, and if shit got intense, I was gonna lock the door in the studio. Luckily, it was a no sweat Super Bowl.
Dotson almost first.
Dotson. Oh God, I was rewatching the Super Bowl and that ref standing right over him immediately goes touchdown. That would have been a nice cash. All right, so officially though, plays for the game. Scott, where are you at? Are you taking the 6.5? Or are you laying it?
I'm gonna lay it. I feel like I wanted to go into this game hoping we'd get 7, obviously, but maybe it's not the same because the Panthers were the home team tonight, but it kind of feels like the wind's been taken out of the other team's sails at this point. OKC is the better team. The Pacers cut it to 2 in game 5, and then they never brought TJ McConnell back in, and the game was over, and they brought him back in with like 4 minutes to go.
Too late.
I feel it was way too late, and the Halliburton injury made the sitting of McConnell for that long worse.
Yes.
Because Halliburton couldn't shoot. He made 0 shots. And the fact is, McConnell was your best player, besides maybe Siakam, for the majority of the second half. And then you couldn't find him for the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. They brought him back in. It was already double digits. It just felt like Indiana had a chance there. They can't guard Jalen Williams. Shea is still walking into 30 and 10. It just feels like OKC has too many answers and too many problems for Indiana to cope with. They're giving Tony Bradley minutes. They're trying out random stuff that they didn't try on the first couple games. We knew going into the series that OKC was the better team. It was a matter of how long it would take for them to separate themselves. It feels like we're finally at that point where OKC realizes, listen, we solved this team. We know what to do. Offensively, we've been getting downhill. Jalen dropped 40 in game 5. It feels like they've solved this team. I'm going with OKC minus the points.
Can anyone win the MVP other than SGA?
No. I don't think so.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah. I mean, what's SGA's MVP price right now?
It was minus 650 from what I saw. Yeah. According to social media, Jalen Williams, suddenly he has a chance to win the award. Have you compared the stats between Jalen Williams and SGA? It's not even close.
No.
Like SGA is clearly winning. And I love the argument. It's like Jalen Williams at 40. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, Shea had like 34 and 10. Like, are we just not including 34 points and 10 rebounds? I tweeted about it. I have to actually just find it. But I actually wrote out all of these stats that they have right now. So far, through 5 games of the finals, SGA is averaging 32.55 with 2.4 steals per game and 1.8 blocks per game. Jalen Williams is averaging 7 fewer points per game. He's averaging more rebounds, a little bit less when it comes to assists, and he's averaging less blocks and less steals. But he's 7 points behind SGA. He's not winning. Like, just stop it. It's going to SGA.
Adam Osimo in the chat saying Shea has one more 30-point game from tying MJ and Olajuwon for most 30-point games in a single postseason.
You think he knows about it?
I feel like guys get aware of these.
How come Shea gets such a pass for his attire?
Yeah,
it's very like grandma. It's like a little Red Riding Hood going through the woods to grandma's.
The bar's been set so low with Kuzma and Westbrook they would just let it slide at this point.
NBA, as an older guy, NBA fashion doesn't make sense to me. But he
stands out for an NBA fashion. He stands out.
My mom would have loved his outfit. I'll leave it at that.
I don't mind it. I just think of the Kuzma pink sweater with the arms flying around. That's the only thing I think of.
Yeah, who is the guy with the really long sleeves, Scott? Was that Kuzma?
Kuzma had the pink thing, and then he also had the very heavy coat, like the insanely fluffy coat where he was walking around. I'm also not a fashion guy. The guy who wears t-shirts the entire time.
Really, Scott?
But yeah, I don't really understand modern. I don't understand modern fashion at all. But I feel like SGA gets a pass because of how bad we've seen other people dress up in the past. Those Terrell, Kuzma outfits were rough.
Where are you at with the game and SGA's outfits on a 0 to 10 scale?
Scott said, "I'm not a fashion guy, right?" Said,
I got this shirt on. That's all I got.
The struggle is real.
That's all I got. That's all I have.
Oh, really? Yeah. That was crazy.
I'm not a fashion guy. It's not for me.
Not a fashion guy.
Hold on. Wait. Pause. We just gotta look at these. I mean,
who is this? SGA. Yeah.
All right. Wait. Can we zoom in here?
Like the cool colors in the neons, I think that works for me.
Yeah, the jacket. You don't like? Okay, what?
That stuff's cool.
You don't think these are? These are fine.
These are fine. No,
if you want a bad one, look up Kuzma by comparison. You'll see what I'm talking about. But those aren't bad.
It was one particular outfit in his post game from the finals where he had
hold on,
it had a bunch of pearls on it. It was the fit was confusing.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. We'll try and track it down.
I'd say the fur coats of
now
all gold outfit.
Wait a minute. Okay, so
he looks like a street performer.
No, I understand here.
This one's wild.
SGA, I think SGA is one of the better dressed out of the people that do wild
stuff.
But that is crazy. That's crazy. That one's wild. No.
Oh, this one's pretty wild too.
I saw the fur coat one. I was getting serious like player haters ball vibes from the.
He looks like
what's this?
Now that's Fashion Week. That's a whole different.
Oh, that's different.
You can't judge that, right?
To be fair, Fashion Week. I don't know if you actually like choose the outfits there.
Yeah, no, they just
like given to you at that point.
Let me see if I throw a grandma in here if it finds it. No. Anyway, all right. We can
now they're making me want to go. Let me go on League Fits.
I don't know the yellow outfit's looking. I forgot the name. It's not R2D2, but it's the other one. What's the other one?
C3.
That one. There you go. That's what I'm. That's the vibe.
Who wore it better, SGA or C3PO? It's a good side by side. Terrell, before you look
this
up,
is it. This little sweater. Okay, I guess that is like a grandma sweater, kind of. But
I mean,
did you find the image?
I did.
Okay.
I did. It's on.
We'll try and track it down.
Here, let me send it to Instagram.
You know what it is? SGA is Wesley Snipes as Blade, but the character of Blade.
Okay.
I mean, I love the movie Blade, and that's a hell of an outfit. So I don't really know where you're going with this one.
It's
like one of the best opening scenes of any movie of all time. I love Blade.
Well, yeah, he's a killer. But I have never seen Blade wear the grandma outfit. But I do kind of maybe that's his new nickname, Blade.
Terrell did send the image.
Oh, really?
Over
We have an image?
I think so. And check Slack maybe. Terrell, while we're getting that up, what are you doing here? You're laying the 6.5 with the Thunder.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it. I think that maybe we get there with free throws and the Pacers trying to extend the game because it is their season. Like this is the last opportunity that they have. But ultimately, I think that the Pacers do kind of keep this into a close game, and OKC is able to just put the dagger in them late, and SGA is able to take over, and they finish it out with no Halliburton or a compromised Halliburton in this one. So I'll go ahead and lay it with OKC here.
Yeah, give me one more ride with
Sean.
this Indiana Pacers. Come on, I gotta go. The Pacers are so good off a loss. I realize it's the first time they had back-to-back losses since March 10th.
They're
not
now.
losing 3 in a row. They're
cooked.
not going down without a fight. Give me the Pacers on the money line. I don't need your 6.5 points. Pacers, it's going to be a raucous environment. Yeah, I think they're going to hang around in this game. 6.5 is way too high. I will be on the money line. I will be on Pacers.
They're going to pull out all their tricks.
So I'm just going to ask those, Sean, is it because you're actually picking the Pacers to win, or do you just love the feeling of being on an island on the show?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I'm on Pacers Island. And that is when everyone
is next to Jared Goff sucks island.
I was gonna say you might be stuck 2 games behind. Are you 2 games behind on Pacers Island?
Can you get like a free ferry from there over there?
A little archipelago or however you pronounce it, a little collection of islands. You know, sometimes the island life is good, sometimes it's bad.
I got it. I figured this out.
Is it like the Bermuda Triangle?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you get lost trying to find Pacers Island, and you get stuck in a thunderstorm, if you will. But I still am rowing towards to Pacers Island. I forgot
I'm so
my
disappointed in myself.
What's that?
This is all about you just trying. It's football season, and you're getting fired up about people excluding Jalen Hurts from things, and you want to stand in solidarity with him. And find the contrarian point at every turn.
No,
you liking the Pacers is about Jalen Hurts being left off the top 11 Philadelphia sports athletes list.
That was
he did?
Insane.
Really? Who made the list? Wait, I want to forget that. I want to hear about this. Who made the list? He didn't make top 11.
No, it was
it's one
so
of them.
the radio station is doing. I mean, again, it's peak off season content where they're doing. This radio station WIP, they're doing the top 11 Philly athletes. And
this is current or all time?
Current.
Okay. I have to ask.
Well, it's a fair question, Scott. And this one troll on the station, Joe DeCamera, he left Hurts off his top 11, and he said he would have him in the 15 to 20 range. So here's his list. Oh, you might be.
Is this it?
No, that's different. That's John Ritchie.
Oh,
John Ritchie is a guy who makes sense, and he is Jalen Hurts is number one.
All right.
So I'll read you his list: Saquon Barkley, Bryce Harper, Zach Wheeler, AJ Brown, Jalen Carter, Lane Johnson, Zach Bond, a guy I love Zach Bond, but he's been here for 1 year. Landon Dickerson, an interior offensive lineman, Quinyon Mitchell, who is awesome, Jordan Mailata. Who is a great left tackle? Great story.
Ranger Suarez 11. Not to talk crap about the other Eagles.
No, well, I mean, Jalen Hurts is Super Bowl MVP. What are we doing here? This is an
Ranger
insane.
Suarez made the list
over Jalen Hurts. I mean, come on.
So I'm gonna ask: does this guy hate Hurts, or is he just there to be the clickbait guy?
He's been shitting on Hurts the entire Hurts' career.
I love
he's one of the guys who doesn't admit that he's wrong. And there's clips of him going like, "Hey, if Jalen Hurts goes out and wins the Super Bowl and has a Super Bowl MVP performance, we're going to be talking about him differently." And then he's just still trolling him.
He should have put Embiid on the list.
Wow,
I was going to say
that
is the one prop I'll give him.
Embiid really should be sad at himself that he didn't make the list.
There are no Sixers on this entire list. If you want to
there's
no Sixers there at all.
I mean, Landon Dickerson versus Embiid. The city is pretty pissed off at Embiid right now, but Tyrese Maxey would be ahead of Landon Dickerson. That's kind of wild.
You have no Flyers guys on there either.
No.
Another way he could have trolled
Mitch
harder
Goff should be in there.
He could have put Kevin Sullivan on the list, who is of course the 16-year-old phenom playing for the Philadelphia Union.
Oh, that would be next level.
Jared McCain on the list. That would have really ruffled some feathers.
Anyway, so I think that's why Sean's taking the Pacers. He's standing with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
that's what this is all about.
It's an underdog mentality. Hungry dogs run faster. All right. Speaking of dogs, Underdog Fantasy, pick 'em, promo code SGPN. The extender is live. That's right. I'm getting a 90% profit boost on Game 6, and if the Pacers end up winning, Game 7 boost will be 100%. So let's work together as a team. Our last Underdog entry did not come home, but we got a redemption opportunity here.
Well, you let me join. You let me participate.
Maybe we don't include Ryan. We'll start with Terrell. Terrell, not a prop. It's a fantasy projection, completely different. But what do you like for Game 6 over on Underdog?
All right. Well, the free square of Tyrese Halliburton or TJ McConnell not being in the game is really disappointing. So I'm gonna just stick with Pascal Siakam.
Okay. What do you like? Because they do have Halliburton listed. Now they've knocked his points and his PRA slightly down, but they are offering it right now. So, and then I think with these ones, if he doesn't play, it's a complete void of the entry. So maybe we stay away just in case. What do you like for Siakam here, Terrell?
Yeah, let's go with Siakam points and rebounds. He's just been really good for them this entire series, and I can't imagine not drawing up plays for Siakam. I think that's the only really issue that I have with Siakam is that they don't really draw up plays for him. They just kind of tell him to go out there and hoop, and he goes out there and has a good game. And so I figure with no Halliburton, they're going to be very intentional of trying to get Siakam the ball, trying to get him in space, and then he's going to be good on the glass. So I like Siakam to go over 28.5 points and rebounds here.
Higher. All right. Like it.
Higher.
Scott, what is a Underdog fantasy projection you like here for Game 6?
Yeah, so part of me kind of wants to go role player on this one because why not? I'll go Aaron Wiggins. I'll take his higher 5.5 points. He had 14 last game. I think at the end of the day, he's a guy who actually gets more usage than you think. They told Isaiah Joe to take a hike. They don't use him anymore, and the fact is they have been using Wiggins a bit more recently. Played 20-plus minutes in the last game, had a solid game there. I think 5.5 is pretty low. We know that he loves to shoot the ball when he's in the game, so volume's not a concern. I think he'll play a decent amount. Give me Wiggins higher 5.5 points.
All right.
He looked good in that game.
Yeah, no, he did.
He gets the garbage time when they're blowing him out.
Scott, are you scared to take TJ McConnell higher points? They moved it up to 10.5.
Jesus.
Do we still think there's value there in TJ McConnell higher 10.5 points?
10.5 I would not take. The argument is that it's juice because Halliburton might not play. But the point is Halliburton, I'm assuming, will suit up. There is a chance he shows up, ends up sitting maybe if he doesn't feel great, and then he gets a bit of a boost there. But I can't take that. At the end of the day, I understand if you want to chase it because that's our guy.
Yeah.
But you can't force the issue. Our guy was around the 6.5, 7.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not going to keep chasing.
It's a 3-point adjustment, which makes it really scary there. I think what about Hartenstein fading him on points? Oh, they adjusted that down too. We could go back to, let's see. Oh, Lou Dort. Although he's on the where are we at with Lou Dort? What do you think about Lou Dort's game coming up 6, Scott?
Yeah, he's been fine. I feel like I want to just quickly pull up what his numbers are for the actual entry here. So his points in the game are at 7.5. He did have 9 last game. The problem is he only shoots threes. He was 3 of 7 from 3. So it just comes down to if he actually thinks he's going to hit some shots or not. Is 1.5 threes is kind of juiced. I think I'm out personally because it only comes down to 3-point volume. It's the only way that he actually scores. So I think I'll pass on that personally, but he should be okay in this game. I'm just not really interested.
What about instead of McConnell points or PRA, what if we look to his assist market? He's had a higher than 3.5 assists in every game except game 4 there. If we can, because that I don't think they got it up to 4.5. I don't know. I feel like 4.5, 5 assists. You think TJ McConnell's good for that, Scott?
I think he should be if he plays 27 plus minutes, which he should in this matchup. So yeah, I'll go with the higher on that.
All right. I feel like we need mojo wise. We need some sort of TJ McConnell play here. So higher TJ McConnell, 4.5 assists, higher Aaron Wiggins, 5.5 points, and higher Pascal Siakam, 28.5 points in rebounds. Just applying that 90% boost. Cool. That is pretty sweet. Nice. Can I throw
in a long shot unrelated thing to our entry from McConnell? 1.5 steals. Give me the over plus 280.
Ooh.
Plus 280.
I like that.
2+ in 3 of the last 4 games.
And there is another market. TJ McConnell over a half rebound in the first quarter.
Whoa.
That I like. But that's I don't want to have the.
What if he starts?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just don't want to have the entry cooked in the first quarter if he somehow doesn't get a rebound, but it feels like he's good for one. And we got the Don saying he likes J-Dub has gone under his 11 rebounds and assists this series. Adam Osimo saying he's staying away from Lou Dort. He does like the Siakam over 5.5 first quarter points. He's had 7 and 10 both games in Indy and 6 points last game in OKC. Yeah, I like that.
Not the first basket, man.
Yeah, for some reason he can't get the first basket. But again, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. You guys also WNBA gambling podcast. There was a big fight in WNBA. They're throwing bows. WNBA. Kramer, I don't know how this came across my feed, but I think it was one of the accounts. There was a fight, a scuffle. Security guard stepping in, boxing out, and then his hand hovers a little too long on this? Sophia Cunningham's butt.
Whoa, a little grab.
There was a little. I don't know. Maybe he was doing a pat down, checking her for weapons back there.
Whoa.
So, question: besides the pat down, what's your thoughts on his 3-point stance?
I mean,
also, it looks like almost like her jersey's too big, and she's rolling it.
He's really putting his back out to try and box out.
It's who's he boxing out?
I don't think he's getting low enough though. Somebody's gonna blow right past.
Hold on. I'm pausing.
He's also kind of laughing. Like, look at the guy's kind of cracking a smile here.
Who's he boxing out?
I think he's trying. If I was giving him the best of the doubt,
he's trying to prevent the fans from being involved. So I think he's there trying to prevent the players from going into the crowd,
from like falling into the stands. But he's got a smile on his face. You can see him
that's all back. That's all back.
This is an unfortunate freeze frame for this gentleman.
Oh no!
WNBA.
Ready? Watch the grab.
There is it's like a little. Okay, this is where it's. It's like the Zapruder film.
That's a wide back. That is like
see that?
Look at this. This is intent.
Oh, look at that. This is the problem with instant replay. Everything looks horrible in slow motion.
What's going on over here? Watch this.
Who is that? Is that a coach or someone trying to break things up?
Oh man.
How old are you guys again?
YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. Play along. Terrell, do you have a play, an angle? I looked at the schedule. There's only one game tomorrow. What should
it would only be you guys to ask us about the WNBA where there's only one game. And one of the two teams is on a back-to-back.
Oh no.
Is there a future prop total, anything that you like for tomorrow in the WNBA?
Yeah, so let's look at whatever the team total is for the Phoenix Mercury here going up against Connecticut Sun. I just don't trust them defensively. They're not good. And this line is low because the Mercury are pretty solid defensively, but I really just don't think the Sun are going to have any legs to be able to keep up with them on the defensive end here. So they're at 84.5 on the team total. I would take over that.
We gotta point out to Derek that the WNBA allows a casino to name a team. Imagine if it was the Las Vegas Circus Sports.
Yeah. Would they,
the Las Vegas Stadium
Circus?
Swims?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they would call themselves. Yeah, that is an interesting thing.
I mean, the Mohegan Sun is just an easy.
Yeah, no, I guess
Sun.
It's already kind of built in there. Scott, is there any play for tomorrow, future angle? Maybe it's just you've been fading a certain player. Give us one piece of gambling know-how for the WNBA gambling podcast.
Yeah, I just want to rant for a second. Angel Reese drops a triple-double against Connecticut. So my stance is pretty simple. Oh, Kaylin's playing against Connecticut. She's going to have herself a crazy game. 1 assist in the entire second half. Are you serious?
Lame.
Caitlin, come on. You got to do better than that. Come on.
Should have been busy fighting. Should have been playing ball, doing all that fighting. Should have been playing ball.
5 assists in the first half, finishes with 6. What a waste of my time. I got nothing to add for actual bets and everything. The Mercury are favored by 13.5. They'll probably dominate. Connecticut's terrible. But Kaylin really had a chance to stat pad, and she just didn't stat pad, and I'm disappointed. That's all I have to say.
This is going to sound like a dumb question, but
sure.
I see they also have a number on the July 1st matchup between the Indiana Fever and Minnesota Lynx. Is there something special about this matchup that they're dropping a number 2 weeks in advance?
Game of the year.
Wow, great that you didn't know. You didn't.
Well,
that is the Commissioner's Cup final.
Are you a fan?
And
are you a fan of the NBA Cup?
You all,
I do like the NBA
very
Cup.
happy to hear that it is a successful in-season tournament. Actually, yeah,
very good.
The winning team gets $500,000 to split.
Sounds like a lot for WNBA.
It is.
So we're gonna take
that might be why it's so successful, is because the actual salaries are significantly less in the NBA, so the money does matter a lot more.
Take some fucking notes, NBA. So Fever to win it plus 165.
Well, if you listen to the WNBA gambling podcast,
we gave it out already.
We gave it out at plus 370. So I mean,
whoa. Look at the
So
size
Ryan,
of their pockets.
We're missing out on CLV. Great plug for why everyone should be tuning in to the WNBA Gambling Podcast after the NBA, or even while the NBA season wraps up here. Great spot as always. Make sure you follow Terrell over on X at ReallyRel _. Follow Scott Reichel on X at Radio Reichel. Check out all their shows on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Download the SGPN app completely free. Yes, Scott.
Yeah, one more thing. We are doing the NBA show right after this. So if you want the live stream version of Game 6, check out the NBA show.
Hell yeah. Great reason to check out. If you're not subscribed, check them out live on YouTube, NBA Gambling Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Kramer?
Yes.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Quick note. Don't bother me or Sean between now and September. We're only doing football episodes and maybe one British Open.
Game 7 NBA Finals.
Oh, there won't be a game.
No, come on.
I just want to say goodbye to everyone who's not football related for a little while.
Okay.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Kramer, let it ride.
I'm wet.
Wah, 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 wah.